The year is 2008, and young Vincent's obsessed with a video game called Need for Speed Carbon. Why? He's determined to win one particular car. It comes in Hemi Orange, and not only that, it's a long-awaited retro muscle car that's destined to come out in 2008. That particular car is the Dodge Challenger, 2008 to 2023. So the Dodge Challenger was one of those cars that looked pretty much exactly like the concept car that Dodge showed. And this is a good thing because everyone wanted it to look like the concept car. I remember when I was young, my dad went to the auto show, he took a picture of the Dodge Challenger concept car, showed it to me, and I was like, wow, this is freaking cool. I'll give you an example of a car that everyone wanted to look like the concept car, but it didn't, and everyone was disappointed. And this is why it's important for a car manufacturer to make the concept car to look like the actual production car. The new Supra. Everyone can relate. They wanted it to look like the concept car, and it didn't. Too bad. But it's still a good looking car, the new Supra, but not as good looking as the concept car. Let's get into the nitty gritty of the Dodge Challenger in 2008. What did it have? Well, base engine was a 3.5 liter V6, didn't make much horsepower, about 250. Second engine you got was the 5.7 liter V8 Hemi. Hemi standing for hemispherical heads, which is the shape of the combustion chambers, came with 372 horsepower. Now the exciting part, the Dodge Challenger SRT8. SRT standing for Street Racing Technology, came with a 6.1 liter V8 putting out 425 bald eagles. The SRT8 came with a better suspension, bigger brakes, you got Brembo brakes up front and the rear, you got bigger tires, you got a 5-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual. If it was me and I was able to buy a car in 2008, I'd buy the 6-speed manual. Definitely a lot more fun than a 5-speed automatic. Let's skip ahead to 2010. What did Chrysler do to make that retro muscle car look even better and more retro and more cool? They introduced the classic color Plum Crazy Pearl. This Plum Crazy Pearl makes the Challenger complete. Now you have the Hemi Orange and the Plum Crazy Pearl. What a cool muscle car. Now what embodies like a retro muscle car? I think it has to be a big car with big power and rear-wheel drive. The Challenger does it all. It's a king of muscle cars. Between the Mustang, the Camaro, and the Challenger, I believe the Challenger embodies that muscle car spirit compared to the Mustang or the Camaro. The Camaro is more of a sports car. The Mustang started off as like a muscle car and it went into the sports car realm. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. I think that's a good thing. But the Challenger, that's the muscle car. 2011. This is a significant year for the Challenger. Why? Well, on a lesser note, the V6. Out was the 3.5 V6. In was the 3.6 liter V6 that put out little over 300 horsepower. Also, the big dog, the SRT8, now called the SRT392. 392 stands for 6.4 liter V8 that put out 470 horsepower. At least once in this video, I have to mention the Dodge Charger, and that's because the Dodge Charger is basically a 4-door version of the Challenger, and I think now's a good time. In 2012, Chrysler introduced the Dodge Challenger Yellow Jacket package, but more importantly, Dodge Charger Super B package. Now you're probably asking me, Vincent, why is the Super B package important? Well, you have to remember that same logo, that Rumblebee logo, is now seen later in the Challenger's life as the Scat Pack. So what did you get with the Super B? You got Super B logos everywhere. It was basically an SRT8, but it was more of an economical SRT8. So instead of leather seats, you got material seats. They saved money that way. But it was awesome. You got that Rumblebee, the classic Rumblebee, a Bumblebee doing a freaking burnout. How does Chrysler come up with this? They're geniuses. It's such a good marketing concept because you go around, you say, hey, I got the Super B package. And everyone knows what the Super B package is because they see the B logo. That is genius. That is awesome. That is creative. Another thing that people don't know about the Challenger is they have crazy stereo systems. 2012, they gave it an 18-speaker Harman Kardon stereo system. Just amazing. Now you got a sonorous V8 in the Super B or the SRT8, and you got an amazing stereo system. What more can you ask for? Let's leapfrog ahead to 2015. You guys are watching this, so you know the Challenger. You know what came in 2015. The legendary, the game changer, the Hellcat. What did you get with the Hellcat? You got a 6.2 liter fire-breathing V8 that made burnouts for days. Produced 707 horsepower and was mounted to an 8-speed automatic. That's new for 2015. Now all models had an 8-speed automatic or a 6-speed manual, which made it an even better car. You got bigger brakes on the Hellcat, a little bit better suspension, and you also got a new refreshed exterior and interior for the 2015 model. In addition, if you got the 6.4 liter V8, it had 15 more horsepower. Now 485 horsepower. Now the way I look at a Dodge Challenger, I see it as like a Tasmanian devil. You guys remember the old Bugs Bunny and Tweety Bird cartoons? The Tasmanian devil was an insane creature that would scorch the earth and destroy everything in its path. That's the Dodge Challenger, and even more so, 2018, the Dodge Challenger Demon was introduced. One wild, crazy, impressive drag racing production car. The Dodge Challenger Demon, what an awesome car. You got a little box if you ordered this car that came with a drag racing kit. Basically a jack, some smaller skinny tires up front. It was a quarter-mile monster. In fact, it was so fast that it did the quarter mile in 9.45 seconds, and it did a wheelie when it launched from the start line. A lot of consumers that bought the Challenger would complain that the tires weren't wide enough. In fact, it had 275s, and that was kind of small. What did Dodge do for the 2019 version of the Challenger? They introduced the wide body kit, which gave it 305s all around and made it a menacing looking car. Also introduced the Redeye edition for 2019, which is 797 bald eagles fast. 2019 was the year they dialed in the Challenger. Now you have 305s all around. You had a big V8. You had rear-wheel drive. You had a good automatic transmission if you want to do automatic. It looked cool now. It looked classic but cool, and it was awesome. Now 2020, you got a little bit more paint colors. 2021, the V6 got all-wheel drive, and now they call it the GT version. Like I said, guys, in my previous videos, check it out, links in the description. I would not buy a V6 in a Challenger. Sorry, it is sacrilegious. You need to buy the V8, and in particular either the 6.4 liter V8 or the God-given supercharged V8. Now let's leap into the final year, 2023. 2023 marked the end of this generation of the Dodge Challenger. Now, Dodge was thinking, they're like, what can we do for 2023? Well, we can give it a placard that says last call, but we can also introduce the Dodge Challenger Demon 170. Dodge Challenger Demon 170 is a wild car. It takes the already fast Demon and cranks it up to 11. Demon 170 has 900 horsepower and pump gas, but if you throw E85 corn fuel into this monster, it produces 1,025 horsepower. That's so fast that it can do the quarter mile in 8.91 seconds. Anyone that's been drag racing knows anything under 10 seconds in the quarter mile is a really fast car. And they made a production car that you can order from the dealership, made by warm-blooded Canadians in Brampton, Ontario, Canada. Now for the future of the Dodge Challenger and Dodge Charger, which is on the same platform. It's not that good looking. Gone is the V8. That's really sad because the heart of any muscle car is that rumbling, sonorous V8 that they came with. In is an inline 6 twin turbo that produce anywhere between 420 horsepower to 550 horsepower depending on the model you got. An option to have an electric Dodge Charger, which again, like I said, is the same as the Challenger. It's the same platform that produces 670 horsepower. However, I think this goes against the spirit of the muscle car. The muscle car, big V8 up front, good transmission, handles decently, brakes decently, rear wheel drive with burnouts for days. I think Chrysler has something up their sleeve, guys. I think they're going to produce a V8 in this car. There's no doubt about it, because Chrysler knows that the consumers want a V8 Challenger or Charger. That's everything I have to say about the Dodge Challenger 2008 and 2023. What a legendary muscle car. Let me know in the comments what you think about the future of the Dodge Challenger.